The smell hit me first. Vanilla and lies, expensive perfume covering something rotten underneath. I stood in our bedroom at 2 in the morning, holding a shoebox I'd found wedged behind Kate's winter boots in the closet. My hands weren't shaking. That's what 6 years in the army teaches you. Steady hands even when your world's tilting sideways. The box was heavier than it should have been. Not much, but enough to make me curious. Enough to make me ignore the voice in my head, saying some doors stay closed for a reason. I'm Jack Dalton, 38 years old, security supervisor at Northwood Paper Mill, veteran of 2 deployments, and apparently the world's biggest idiot. Because the woman sleeping in our bed downstairs, my wife of 4 years, had secrets that weighed exactly as much as this box. The house was quiet except for the furnace kicking on. Our modest 2-bedroom sat on the edge of town, close enough to hear the mill's night shift whistle, but far enough that we pretended we lived somewhere better. Kate always wanted better. Better house, better car, better husband, probably. I sat on the floor of our walk-in closet, which Kate had insisted we needed when we bought the place. Now I understood why. More room for hiding things. The lid came off easy. Too easy, like it had been opened plenty of times before. Photographs, dozens of them, glossy and new. Kate smiling in front of a house I'd never seen. A real house, not our starter home. Kate with 2 kids, a boy and a girl, maybe 6 and 8 years old. Kate at someone's birthday party, blowing out candles on a cake. Kate in a wedding dress. Not our wedding dress. Different. Simpler. Older. My throat went dry. I kept digging. A marriage certificate. Kate Elizabeth Morrison to Elliot James Vance. Dated 7 years ago, 2 years before she'd met me at Mickey's bar downtown. 2 years before she'd smiled at me over a beer and said she'd just moved to town for a fresh start. Fresh start. Right. 2 birth certificates underneath. Emma Grace Vance, born 6 years ago. Michael James Vance, born 8 years ago. Mother, Kate Elizabeth Vance. The math wasn't hard. She'd been married the whole time, had kids the whole time, had an entire other life the whole time. I heard footsteps on the stairs. Soft, careful. Kate always moved like a cat, graceful and quiet. Predator, quiet. I didn't hide the box, didn't shove it back behind the boots. I just sat there on the closet floor, photographs spread around me like evidence at a crime scene, and waited. She appeared in the doorway, wearing one of my old army t-shirts, hair messy from sleep. Still beautiful. That was the hell of it. She was still the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. Jack? Her voice was sleepy, confused. What are you doing up here? I held up the marriage certificate. Want to explain, or should I ask your other husband? The confusion dropped from her face like a mask. What replaced it was colder, calculating. She'd been caught, and we both knew it, but she was already working the angles. It's not what you think, she said. I laughed. Actually laughed, though nothing was funny. That's your opening? Come on, Kate. You're smarter than that. You've been running 2 lives for 4 years. At least, give me a better lie. She sat down on the edge of the bed, careful to keep distance between us. Smart woman. How long have you known? About 30 seconds longer than I've been holding this box. I can explain. I'm sure you can. You've always been good with words. That's what you do, right? Corporate PR, spinning stories, making things sound better than they are. I picked up one of the photos, her with the kids at a beach somewhere. These your stories too? She didn't answer. Her jaw was tight, eyes scanning the room like she was looking for exits. But there was only one way out of this bedroom, and I was between her and the door. Elliot Vance, I said, reading the name off the certificate. That name sounds familiar. Wait, Elliot Vance, union boss at the mill, big guy, drives a black truck, always talking loud at the outpost bar about workers' rights. Her silence was confirmation enough. You married your boss's boss, I said. That's almost funny. Does he know about me? Jack, please. Does he know? No. Barely a whisper. I stood up, knees cracking. Too many years carrying heavy gear in the desert. So I'm the secret. I'm the dirty little side piece. How's that work exactly? You tell him you're traveling for work, late meetings, girls' weekends? It's complicated. Complicated. I gathered the photographs, stacked them neatly, put them back in the box with the certificates. My hands were still steady. That surprised me. You know what's not complicated? The truth. You married me while you were already married. You lied about everything. You made me into someone I never wanted to be. The other man. The fool. She stood up, took a step toward me. I never meant to hurt you. Stop. I held up my hand. Don't do that. Don't stand there in my shirt, in our bedroom, and pretend this was some accident. You chose this. Every day for 4 years, you woke up and chose to lie to me. What are you going to do? That was the question, wasn't it? What does a man do when he discovers his whole life is built on sand? When the woman he loved, still loved, God help him, was never really his at all? I looked at her standing there, beautiful and terrible, and something cold settled in my chest. Something that felt like the desert at night, when the temperature drops and everything becomes sharp and clear. I don't know yet, I said, but you're going to find out. Her eyes widened just a fraction. Good. She should be scared. I walked past her, box under my arm, and headed downstairs to the basement. We'd finished it last year, my project, my space. Kate never came down here. Said it. Smelled like motor oil and old books. She didn't follow me. Smart woman. I locked the basement door behind me and sat down at my workbench. Spread the contents of the box out under the bright LED lamp. Studied each photograph like they were mission intel, because that's what they were. Now Kate had declared war. She just didn't know I was a soldier. And soldiers don't lose. The Outpost Bar sat on Main Street between a hardware store and a shuttered movie theater. It smelled like beer and fried food and decades of cigarette smoke that no amount of cleaning could erase. The kind of place where everybody knew your name and all your business too. I'd been coming here since I moved to town 10 years ago. After I got out of the army, I drifted for a while before landing in this mill town on the edge of the Maine woods. It wasn't home exactly, but it was close enough. Mickey stood behind the bar, polishing glasses that never looked clean. He was 60-something, built like a fire hydrant with a face that had seen everything and judged none of it. You look like hell, he said when I sat down. Feel worse. He poured me a whiskey without asking. Good whiskey. 2, not the rail stuff. Woman, trouble? Is there any other kind? Big Ed occupied his usual stool at the end of the bar, working on his 3rd or 4th beer of the afternoon. Ed was my age but looked older, weathered by 20 years, as an MP before he had retired and taken a job as a night watchman. We'd bonded over shared military experience and a mutual appreciation for sitting in bars and not talking. JD, he called out, you coming to poker Thursday? Maybe. That means no. Woman got you on a leash? If he only knew. Something like that. Mickey leaned against the bar, studying me with those sharp bartender eyes that missed nothing. You want to talk about it? Not yet. But eventually? Yeah, eventually. The door opened, letting in cold afternoon air and Sandy Morrison, our neighbor from 3 houses down. Sandy was Kate's friend, or what passed for a friend in Kate's world. They had coffee together, went shopping, Did whatever it was women did when they wanted to pretend they liked each other. Sandy spotted me and made a beeline for my stool. She was 40-something, trying hard to look 30-something, with blonde highlights and too much perfume. "Jack, I didn't expect to see you here." She settled onto the stool next to mine, uninvited. "Where's Kate?" "Home." "Oh." She ordered a white wine, which Mickey poured with visible disdain. "I tried calling her today, but she didn't answer. Is everything okay?" "Why wouldn't it be?" "No reason, just, girl talk. We usually chat every day." I took a slow sip of whiskey, letting the burn ground me. "What do you and Kate talk about?" "Oh, everything. Work, shopping, our husbands." She laughed, high and nervous. "She's so lucky to have you. Always says how stable you are. How dependable. Stable. Dependable. Code words for boring, for the safe choice, for the man you marry when you need cover for your real life." "Sandy, how long have you known Kate?" "Since you guys moved in. 4 years. Why?" "She ever mention anyone named Elliot?" The wine glass stopped halfway to her lips. Just for a second, barely noticeable, but I'd been trained to notice everything. "Elliot? I don't think so. Why?" "Just curious." She drank her wine too fast, set the glass down too hard. "I should go. Tell Kate to call me, okay?" She was gone before I could answer. Mickey raised an eyebrow. "That was interesting." "Yeah." "You want to tell me what's going on?" I pulled out my phone, opened the photos I'd taken of Kate's box contents last night, showed Mickey the marriage certificate. He studied it for a long moment, then poured himself a whiskey. "Well, hell. That's one way to put it. Elliot Vance. I know him. Comes in here sometimes, throws his weight around. Big union guy, thinks he's important." Mickey shook his head. "And Kate's been married to him this whole time?" 7 years, according to the certificate. While married to you. While married to me. Big Ed had wandered over, beer in hand. "Did I hear that right? Your wife's got another husband?" "2 kids, too." Ed whistled low. "That's cold, man. That's ice cold. She's been living 2 complete lives. 2 houses, 2 husbands, 2 families. Like she's in witness protection or something, except she's not running from danger, she's running toward it. Both directions." Mickey refilled my glass. "What are you going to do?" That was the question everyone kept asking. What was I going to do? Go to the cops? Tell them my wife was a bigamist? Watch her get arrested, dragged through court, maybe sent to prison? No, that was too easy, too quick, too clean. Kate had spent 4 years making me into a fool. I was going to spend however long it took returning the favor. "I'm going to find out everything," I said. "Where she goes, who she sees, what she tells him about me. I'm going to map her whole double life like it's enemy territory. And then I'm going to burn it all down." Ed grinned. "Now that sounds like a plan. You need help?" "Maybe. I'm in. Always wanted to do some surveillance work. Beats watching empty warehouses all night." Mickey nodded. "I hear things. People talk in bars. I'll keep my ears open." "I appreciate it." "One question, though," Mickey said. "When you burn it all down, where does that leave you?" "Alone," I said. "But at least I'll be standing." I left the outpost an hour later, whiskey warm in my stomach and a plan forming in my head. Kate wouldn't be home yet. She worked late most nights, or so she said, probably spending time with her real family, her real life. I drove past our house and kept going, heading toward the nicer part of town where the mill executives lived. The house, in Kate's photographs, had a distinctive red door and a big oak tree in the front yard. Shouldn't be too hard to find. It took me 20 minutes of cruising through developments before I spotted it. 2-story, colonial, well-maintained lawn, swing set in the backyard, a black truck in the driveway, the kind Elliot Vance drove. I parked down the street and watched. Lights were on inside. Through the front window, I could see movement. A man's silhouette, tall and broad. Kids running around. Normal family evening. Kate's car pulled up at 6:30. She got out wearing a different outfit than she'd left our house in this morning. A casual sweater and jeans instead of her work suit. She must keep clothes somewhere. Change between lives. The front door opened before she reached it. Elliot Vance stepped out, and even from a distance I could see he was everything I wasn't. 6'3", built like he still hit the gym every day. Confident swagger. The kind of man who took up space and expected everyone else to move. He kissed Kate. Not a peck, a real kiss. Then the kids came running out, and she scooped them up, laughing. I watched for an hour. Watched them eat dinner through the window. Watched them put the kids to bed. Watched Elliot and Kate settle on the couch together, his arm around her shoulders. My phone buzzed. Text from Kate. "Working late tonight, don't wait up." I took a photo of her car in Elliot's driveway, her visible through the window. Saved it. Evidence, intel, ammunition. Then I drove home to our empty house and went down to the basement, where I'd started building what Big Ed would later call my war room. I pinned the photo to a corkboard, added the marriage certificate, the birth certificates, the photos from the box, drew lines connecting everything, timelines, addresses, names. Kate thought she was clever, thought she could keep two lives separate, two men fooled, two families intact. She was wrong. And by the time I was done, everyone would know it. 3 days of surveillance taught me Kate's pattern. She was meticulous. I had to give her that. Every detail planned, every story straight. She'd leave our house at 7:30 in her work suit, drive to the office, actually work until 5. Then, she'd hit the gym, or that's what she told me. Really, she went to a storage unit on the edge of town where she kept a second wardrobe, a second phone, a second life in a 10 by 10 space. She'd change clothes, switch phones, and drive to Elliot's house. Play wife and mother until 10 or 11, then reverse the process. Back to the storage unit, back into her work clothes, back to me with stories about difficult clients and late meetings. Tuesdays and Thursdays were my nights. Weekends were split. Saturday with Elliot, Sunday with me. Holidays rotated. She'd even worked out a system for Christmas, telling me she had to visit her sick mother in Florida while actually spending it with her real family. Right here, in town. Her sick mother, who didn't exist. Kate's parents had died years ago, that much was true. Maybe the only true thing she'd ever told me. I sat in my truck outside the storage facility, watching her through binoculars. She was quick, efficient. 5 minutes to change, and she was out. Never looked around, never checked for tails. Why would she? She'd been doing this for years without getting caught. My phone rang. Big Ed. "You still on her?" he asked. "Yeah, she's heading to Elliot's now." "I got something. Remember you asked me to check on Heather?" Heather was Kate's work friend, the one she supposedly went out with on Friday nights, except I'd called Kate's office yesterday, and the receptionist had never heard of any Heather in PR. "What did you find?" "Heather's real, but she doesn't work with Kate. She works at the bar on 5th Street. You know, the upscale place where the mill executives hang out. The Riverside. That's the one. Heather's a cocktail waitress there. Been working there 6 years. I watched Kate's car turn the corner toward Elliot's neighborhood. So Kate's been lying about Heather, too. Looks like it. Want me to talk to her? Not yet. Let me think. I drove home, mind working through possibilities. Heather was a piece that didn't fit the pattern. Why lie about a friend? Why create a fake work relationship? Unless Heather knew something, unless Heather was part of the deception. At home, I found Sandy on my front porch, holding a casserole dish. "Jack, I brought dinner. Kate mentioned you've been working long hours and I thought you could use a home-cooked meal." "That's kind of you, Sandy, but it's no trouble at all. Where is Kate anyway? Her car's not here." "Working late." "Again?" Sandy's smile was sharp. "She works so hard. You're lucky she's so dedicated to her career." I took the casserole because it was easier than arguing. "Thanks for this." "Of course. We're neighbors. We look out for each other." She paused, like she was working up courage. "Jack, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Has Kate seemed different to you lately? Distracted?" "Why do you ask?" "No reason. Just when we had coffee last week, she seemed stressed. I wondered if everything was okay at home." I studied Sandy's face. She was fishing for something, but I couldn't tell what. Gossip? Confirmation of her suspicions? Or was she part of Kate's web too? "Everything's fine," I said. "Good. That's good." She didn't move. "You know, if you ever need to talk, I'm right down the street. Sometimes it helps to have someone to confide in." "I'll keep that in mind." After she left, I took the casserole inside and dumped it in the trash. Couldn't trust anything from Kate's circle. Couldn't trust anyone who smiled that wide and meant it that little. In the basement, I added Heather and Sandy to my board, drew question marks next to their names, connections waiting to be made. My phone buzzed. Text from Kate. "Be home by midnight. Miss you." I stared at those two words. Miss you. Like they meant something, like she actually felt them. I texted back, "Miss you too," because I was playing the game now, and you don't win games by showing your hand early. At 11:30, I heard her car in the driveway. I was in bed, lights off, pretending to sleep. She came in quiet, slipped into the bathroom, showered, washing off Elliot's cologne, probably, washing off her other life. She slid into bed next to me, smelling like soap and lies. "Jack?" she whispered. "You awake?" I didn't answer. Kept my breathing steady, deep. Soldier's trick. You can fake sleep well enough to fool anyone. She curled against my back. "I love you," she said to my sleeping form. The words hung in the dark. "I love you." Did she mean them? Could someone like Kate even understand what love meant? Or was it just another line, another piece of the performance? I lay there for hours after she fell asleep, staring at nothing, feeling her warmth against me and hating that some part of me still wanted it to be real. The next morning, I called in sick to work. First time in 3 years. Kate had already left. Early meeting, she'd said. I drove straight to the Riverside bar. It didn't open until 11, but I waited in the parking lot. At 10:30, a woman in her late 20s showed up, unlocking the back door. Blonde, pretty, wearing too much makeup for a Thursday morning. "Heather?" I called out. She turned, wary. "Who's asking?" "Jack Dalton, Kate's husband." Her face went white. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do. Kate tells me you two work together, but that's not true, is it? You work here. So why does she lie about knowing you?" Heather looked around the empty parking lot like she was planning an escape route. "Look, I don't want any trouble. Neither do I. I just want the truth. I can't—" "She's married to someone else," I said. "Did you know that? She's got another husband, 2 kids, a whole other family. I found the marriage certificate. I've seen the house. I've been watching her play both sides for days now." Heather's shoulders sagged. "Oh, God. So you did know. Not about you. I swear I didn't know about you." She fumbled with her keys. Finally, got the door open. "Come inside. I need a drink for this." The bar was dark and smelled like stale beer. Heather went behind the counter and poured herself a shot of vodka, drank it straight, poured another. How long have you known Kate? I asked. 3 years. She comes in here sometimes with Elliot. Big spender, always tips well. We got friendly. She started confiding in me. About what? Her marriage. How Elliot was controlling. How she felt trapped. How she wished she could just disappear and start over. I laughed bitterly. So she did. She started over with me. Except she didn't actually leave him. I thought she had. She told me 6 months ago that she was finally leaving Elliot. That she'd found someone new, someone who treated her right. Heather looked at me with something like pity. I guess that was you. Except she never left him. No, I saw her here last week, with Elliot. They were celebrating their anniversary. Their anniversary. While married to me, while sleeping in my bed and eating at my table and saying she loved me. Did she ever mention me? I asked. Once. She said she had a friend who was helping her out, letting her stay with him while she figured things out. She made it sound temporary. We've been married 4 years. Heather poured another shot, but didn't drink it, just stared at it. She played us both. She played everyone. That's what she does. She's a professional liar, and we all bought it. What are you going to do? I'm going to make sure everyone knows what she is. Be careful. Elliot's not a guy you want to mess with. He's got connections. Union guys, some of them pretty rough. I'm not scared of Elliot. Maybe you should be. I left Heather at the bar and drove to the mill. Didn't go inside, just parked where I could see the union office. At 1 o'clock, Elliot came out for lunch. He was even bigger up close, maybe 6'4", 220 easy, walked like he owned the place. He got in his black truck and drove to a diner downtown. I followed at a distance, parked across the street, watched him through the window, eating a burger and laughing with some other union guys. This was Kate's other husband. The real one, probably. The one she'd chosen first. My phone buzzed. Text from Mickey. You need to come to the bar. Now. I drove to the outpost. Mickey was waiting outside, smoking a cigarette even though he'd quit 5 years ago. What's wrong? I asked. Sandy was in here an hour ago. Drunk, crying. She told me something about Kate. What? Sandy's known about Elliot the whole time. Kate told her years ago, swore her to secrecy. Sandy kept it because Kate paid her. The world tilted again. Paid her? $500 a month to keep quiet. To be her alibi when she needed one. To cover for her. Jesus Christ. There's more. Sandy says Kate's been embezzling from both of you. Small amounts, nothing you'd notice. But over 4 years, it adds up. She's got a bank account neither of you know about. Over $50,000 in it. I leaned against the wall, trying to process. She's been stealing from me. From both of you. Planning her exit, probably. When she gets tired of the game, she disappears with the money and leaves you both holding the bag. Where's Sandy now? Went home. She's scared, Jack. Says Kate's going to kill her if she finds out she talked. Kate's not going to kill anyone. She's too smart for that. Too careful. But even as I said it, I wondered. How far would Kate go to protect her double life? What would she do if... She knew the walls were closing in. I needed to move faster, needed to strike before she realized I was coming. Get Ed, I told Mickey. Tell him it's time. We're going to war. Friday night, I set the trap. It was simple, really, elegant in its cruelty. I sent identical texts to Kate and Elliot from a burner phone. I know everything. Meet me at the outpost at 8 p.m. if you want to keep this quiet. Then I waited. The outpost was busy for a Friday, which was perfect. I wanted witnesses. Wanted the whole town to see what Kate had done. This was a small place where everyone knew everyone, where gossip spread faster than fire. By morning, Kate's double life would be the only thing anyone talked about. Big Ed sat at the bar, nursing a beer and watching the door. Mickey was behind the counter, phone ready to record. I'd positioned myself at a corner table with clear sight lines to the entrance. At 7:55, Elliot walked in. He was dressed casual but still looked like he was ready for a fight. Jeans, work boots, tight t-shirt showing off his arms. His eyes scanned the bar, looking for threats. He spotted me and stopped. Confusion crossed his face, then something harder. He walked over to my table. "You Jack Dalton?" His voice was deep, commanding, the kind of voice used to being obeyed. "That's right. You're the one who sent that text? Sit down, Elliot. I don't take orders from—" "Your wife is married to me." He froze. The bar had gone quiet. Everyone watching now. Small-town entertainment, better than TV. "What did you say?" I pulled out my phone, showed him the photo of Kate and me on our wedding day. Kate Dalton, my wife. 4 years married, together for 5. We own a house on Maple Street. She comes home to me every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, tells me she loves me, tells me she's working late when she's really with you. Elliot's face had gone red. "That's impossible." "Is it? Where is Kate right now?" "She's—" He stopped, pulled out his own phone, stared at it. "Let me guess," I said. "She texted you that she had to work late. Emergency client meeting. She'll be home by midnight." His jaw clenched. "How do you know that?" "Because she tells me the same lies she tells you. Except when she's with me, you're the emergency client meeting." The door opened. Kate walked in, saw both of us at the table, and went pale. For a second, nobody moved. The whole bar held its breath. Then Elliot stood up. "Kate, tell me this isn't true." She looked between us, mind racing. I could see her trying to calculate a way out, some story that would explain everything. But there was no story good enough for this. "Elliot, I can explain." "Are you married to him?" "It's complicated. Are you married to him?" "Yes." Barely a whisper. The bar erupted in whispers. Phones came out, people recording. Kate's worst nightmare, public exposure. Everything she'd worked to hide, laid bare in front of the whole town. "How long?" Elliot demanded. 4 years, I answered for her. 4 years she's been playing us both, living 2 lives, 2 houses, 2 husbands. She's good at it too, very organized, very careful, except she kept a box of photos hidden in our closet, and I found it. Kate's eyes met mine, and I saw something I'd never seen before. Fear. Real, genuine fear. "Jack, please." "Please what? Please keep quiet? Please let you keep lying? Why would I do that?" Elliot took a step toward her. "The kids. Are they even mine?" "Of course they're yours." "How do I know that? How do I know anything you've ever told me is true?" Sandy appeared in the doorway, drawn by the commotion. Her face went white when she saw the scene. She tried to back out, but Big Ed blocked her path. "Sandy," I called out, "come join us. You're part of this too." "I don't know what you're talking about. $500 a month, I said. "That's what Kate paid you to keep quiet, to be her alibi, to help her lie to both of us." The bar went even quieter. Sandy looked like she might cry. "Is that true?" Elliot asked. Sandy nodded miserably. "Anyone else?" Elliot's voice was dangerous now. "Anyone else in on this?" I pulled out my phone, played the recording I'd made of Heather at the riverside. Her voice filled the bar. "She told me she was leaving you, that she'd found someone new. I thought she meant she was getting divorced. I didn't know she was married to both of you." Kate sank into a chair. She looked small suddenly, defeated. The mask had finally cracked. "There's more," I said. "Show them, Mickey." Mickey pulled out a folder, handed it to Elliot. "Bank statements. Kate's been skimming money from both of you. Small amounts, nothing you'd notice month to month, but it adds up. $53,000, give or take. Elliot flipped through the statements, his face getting redder with each page. You stole from me. I needed security, Kate said. I needed a way out if things went bad. Things are bad now, I said. Things are as bad as they get. What do you want? Kate asked me. You want me to apologize? Fine, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry I hurt you. Is that what you need to hear? No. I need everyone to know what you are. I need your perfect reputation destroyed. I need both your lives to fall apart the way mine did. You're cruel. I learned from the best. Elliot threw the folder on the table. We're done. You hear me? I want you out of my house tonight. I'll file for divorce. Monday morning. You'll never see those kids again. You can't do that. Watch me. I'll tell them their mother is a liar and a thief. I'll make sure everyone at the mill knows what you did. Your job, your reputation, everything gone. He stormed out. The door slammed behind him. Kate looked at me. Are you happy now? Is this what you wanted? Not yet, I said. But we're getting there. She stood up, grabbed her purse. I hope you enjoy this, Jack. I hope it was worth it. It was. She left. The bar stayed quiet for maybe 10 seconds, then exploded in conversation. Everyone talking at once, phones out, already spreading the news. Mickey poured me a whiskey. That was brutal, man. Had to be done. What now? Now we wait. Let it spread. Let everyone know. By tomorrow, she won't be able to show her face in this town. Big Ed clapped me on the shoulder. Remind me never to piss you off. Sandy was crying in the corner. I walked over to her. You knew the whole time, I said. She told me she was going to leave him, that it was temporary, that she just needed time to figure things out. And you believed her? She was my friend. I wanted to help. You helped her lie to me. You took money to keep quiet. That's not friendship, Sandy. That's complicity. I'm sorry. Everyone's sorry. Funny how that works. No one's sorry until they wow. Garing where and kaker. Kate, I left her there and went home. The house felt different now, emptier, colder. I went down to the basement, looked at my war room, all the evidence, all the planning. It had worked. I'd exposed Kate, destroyed her double life, turned both her husbands against her. But standing there in the basement, surrounded by proof of her betrayal, I didn't feel victorious. I felt hollow. My phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. You made a mistake. Elliot doesn't forgive. Watch your back. I stared at the message. Was it a threat? A warning? From who? Another text, this one from Kate. You don't know what you've done. You don't know who you're dealing with. I texted back, neither do you. But as I sat there in the dark, I wondered if that was true. Had I underestimated Elliot? Underestimated what a man like him might do when publicly humiliated? I'd wanted revenge. I'd gotten it, but revenge has a price, and I was about to find out what it cost. Saturday morning, I woke to the sound of breaking glass. I was out of bed in seconds, old instincts kicking in, grabbed the baseball bat I kept by the door, and moved through the house. The living room window was shattered, glass covering the floor. A brick sat in the middle of the room, paper wrapped around it. I picked it up carefully. The note was short. Mind your own business, or next time it's your face. I called the cops. Detective Lacey showed up 40 minutes later, looking tired and annoyed. He was mid-50s, overweight, counting down the days to retirement. The kind of cop who did the minimum and called it good enough. So, you had a domestic dispute at the outpost last night, he said, not even bothering to write anything down. And now someone threw a brick through your window. You think it's related? Obviously. You got any proof who did it? Elliot Vance. Has to be. Has to be, or you think it is. Who else would it be? Lacey shrugged. Could be. Anyone. You embarrassed your wife pretty publicly. She's got friends, family, people who might not appreciate what you did. So, you're not going to investigate? I'll write a report, but unless you've got evidence, there's not much I can do. My advice? Get your window fixed and move on with your life. He left. I stood in my living room surrounded by broken glass and thought about how justice was supposed to work versus how it actually did. My phone rang. Big Ed. You okay? He asked. Someone threw a brick through my window? Yeah, I heard. It's all over town. Also heard Elliot's been making threats at the Union Hall. Says you destroyed his marriage, turned him into a laughingstock. Some of his guys are pretty loyal. You think he sent them after me? Maybe. Or maybe he did it himself. Either way, you need to be careful. These Union guys, they stick together. I'm not scared of Elliot. You should be. He's got a temper and a lot of friends who owe him favors. After Ed hung up, I called a glass repair company. They couldn't come until Monday. I boarded up the window with plywood from the garage and tried to figure out my next move. Kate hadn't come home last night. I'd checked her location on the Find My Friends app we'd set up when we got married. She was at a hotel downtown. Hiding, probably. Trying to figure out her own next move. I drove to the hotel. Her car was in the parking lot. I went to the front desk. I need to see Kate Dalton. What room is she in? The clerk, a kid barely 20, looked nervous. I can't give out guest information. I pulled out my wallet, showed him my driver's license with our address. I'm her husband. We had a fight. I just want to talk to her. Sir, if she wanted to talk to you, she'd call. Just tell me what room she's in. I can't. I leaned across the desk. Listen to me very carefully. My wife has been lying to me for 4 years. She's been married to another man the whole time. She's stolen money from me, and now someone's threatening me because I exposed her. So you're going to tell me what room she's in, or I'm going to make a scene that gets you fired. The kid swallowed hard. Room 237. I took the stairs 2 at a time, knocked on her door. Kate, open up. Silence. I know you're in there. We need to talk. The door opened a crack. Kate looked terrible. No makeup, hair messy, eyes red from crying. What do you want? Did you send someone to throw a brick through our window? What? No. Why would I? Someone did. Left a note telling me to mind my own business. It wasn't me. Was it Elliot? I don't know. Maybe. He's been calling me all night, screaming. He kicked me out, told me I'm dead to him. The kids won't even talk to me. Good. Her face crumpled. How can you be so cruel? You made me this way. You lied to me for 4 years. You made me love you while you were living a completely different life. You don't get to play victim now. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. And now you're paying for it. We both are. What do you want from me, Jack? You want me to suffer? Fine. I'm suffering. You want me to lose everything? I'm losing everything. Is that enough? Or do you need more? I looked at her standing there in her hotel room, everything falling apart, and felt nothing. No satisfaction, no pity, nothing. She was a stranger. Maybe she always had been. I want you to understand what you did, I said. I want you to feel what I felt when I found that box, when I realized my whole life was a lie. I do understand. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix anything. I left her there and drove to the mill. It was Saturday, but Elliot would be there. He always worked Saturdays, putting in extra hours to show the union members he was one of them. His truck was in the parking lot. I went inside, found him in the union office. He was alone. Going the Me, I said. He looked up, face hard. Get out. Did you throw a brick through my window? I should have thrown it at your head. So it was you. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Listen, Elliot, I don't like you, and you don't like me. But we've got a common problem. Kate played us both. She lied to us both. She stole from us both. I don't need your help dealing with my wife. Ex-wife. You said you were filing for divorce. That's none of your business. It is my business. Because as long as she's still married to both of us, this mess isn't over. We need to coordinate. Make sure she can't play us against each other anymore. Elliot stood up. He was even bigger up close, and he used his size to intimidate. You think I'm going to work with you? You're the reason everyone knows my business. You're the reason I'm a joke at this mill. No, Kate's the reason. I just exposed it. Same difference. Look, I'm not asking us to be friends. I'm asking us to be smart. She's got $50,000 hidden away. She's been planning her exit for years. If we don't work together, she's going to disappear with that money and leave us both looking like idiots. What do you suggest? We freeze her accounts, get lawyers, make sure she can't access any money from either of us. Then we let the courts handle it. Elliot considered this. And what do you get out of it? Same thing you do, justice, and the satisfaction of knowing she didn't win. She already lost. Everyone knows what she is. But she's not broke yet. She's not destroyed yet. And until she is, this isn't over. Elliot stared at me for a long moment. Fine, I'll call my lawyer Monday. We'll coordinate. But after this is done, I don't want to see your face again. Deal. I left the mill feeling like I'd accomplished something, even if I wasn't sure what. Elliot and I weren't allies, but at least we weren't enemies. Not yet. My phone buzzed. Text from Sandy. We need to talk. It's important. I drove to her house. She answered the door, looking scared, kept glancing over her shoulder. What's wrong? I asked. Someone's been following me. A car I don't recognize. It's been parked outside my house since yesterday. What kind of car? Dark sedan. Tinted windows. It's there right now. I looked down the street. Sure enough, a black sedan sat 3 houses down, engine off. Stay inside, I told Sandy. Lock your doors. I walked toward the sedan. As I got closer, the engine started. The car pulled away fast, tires squealing. I got the license plate number, texted it to Big Ed. Can you run this? 5 minutes later, he called back. Rental car, paid cash, no name on the contract. Someone's watching us. Not just us. Mickey called. Someone broke into the outpost last night, trashed his office, took the security footage from Friday. The footage of Kate's exposure. Yeah, someone's trying to erase evidence. Kate? Maybe. Or someone working for her. Or Elliot. Or hell, could be anyone at this point. You've made a lot of people angry, Jack. He was right. I'd started this wanting revenge, wanting to expose Kate's lies. But I'd kicked over a hornet's nest, and now the hornets were swarming. I need to end this, I said. How? I don't know yet, but it has to be soon, before someone gets hurt. That night, I sat in my basement war room, studying the board. All the connections, all the evidence. There had to be something I was missing, some piece that would make everything make sense. My phone buzzed. Another unknown number. Train yard. Midnight. Come alone. I stared at the message. It was obviously a trap. But it was also an opportunity. Someone wanted to meet. Someone wanted to talk. Or someone wanted me dead. I texted back, I'll be there. Then I called Big Ed. I need backup. The abandoned train yard sat on the edge of town, a rusting monument to better days. The mill used to ship product by rail back before trucks took over. Now it was just empty tracks and graffiti-covered boxcars, a place where teenagers drank and homeless people slept. I arrived at 11:45, parked my truck a quarter-mile away and walked in. Big Ed was already there, hidden in the shadows with a clear view of the meeting spot. We'd served together in Afghanistan. I trusted him with my life. The yard was dark except for a few broken streetlights. Wind whistled through the empty cars. I stood in the open area between two tracks and waited. At midnight exactly, headlights cut through the darkness. A car approached, stopped 50 feet away. The engine shut off. Door opened. Kate stepped out. "You came," she said. "You asked me to." "I wasn't sure you would." "What do you want, Kate?" She walked closer, slowly. She was wearing jeans and a jacket, hair pulled back. She looked tired, older somehow. "I want to explain." "There's nothing to explain. You lied. You got caught. End of story. It's not that simple. It is exactly that simple." "No, it's not. You don't understand what my life was like with Elliot. He's not who you think he is. I don't care who he is. He's dangerous, Jack. He's violent. I married him when I was young and stupid, and by the time I realized what he was, I had 2 kids and no way out. So you married me? That was your escape plan? You were supposed to be temporary, a place to stay while I figured things out, but then I fell in love with you." I laughed. "You don't love me. You don't love anyone but yourself." "That's not true. You stole from me, Kate. You lied to me every single day for 4 years. You made me into a joke. That's not love. I was trying to protect you." "From what?" "From Elliot. If he'd found out about you, he would have killed you. He's killed before." I went cold. "What are you talking about?" 3 years ago, one of his union guys disappeared. Man named Tommy Briggs. He'd been skimming money, and Elliot found out. Tommy was never seen again. You're lying. I'm not. I saw Elliot the night Tommy disappeared. He came home with blood on his shirt, and he burned it in the backyard. I asked him what happened, and he told me Tommy had an accident, but I knew. I've always known. If that's true, why didn't you go to the police? Because I was scared. Because I had kids to protect. Because Elliot said if I ever told anyone, he'd make sure I had an accident too. Another car pulled into the yard. Elliot's black truck. Kate's face went white. Oh God, he followed me. Elliot got out, walking toward us with purpose. Even in the dark, I could see he was angry. "You just can't help yourself, can you?" he called out. "Even now you're still lying, still trying to play both sides." "Elliot, please." "Shut up, Kate. I'm done listening to you." He looked at me. "And you? You think you're some kind of hero? You think you did the right thing, exposing her?" "I think she deserved it." "Maybe, but you made a mistake getting involved. This was between me and her. You should have walked away." "Can't walk away from your own wife. She's not your wife. She's mine, always has been. You were just a convenience." Kate stepped between us. "Stop it, both of you. This isn't helping." "Get out of the way," Elliot said. "No." He grabbed her arm, pulled her aside roughly. She stumbled, fell. I moved without thinking, got between them. "Don't touch her." "Or what? You'll fight me? You'll call the cops? Go ahead. See what happens." "I know about Tommy Briggs." Elliot went still. "What?" "Kate told me. How he disappeared. How you came home with blood on your shirt." "She's lying." "Is she? Because you look pretty nervous right now." "You don't know what you're talking about." "Then explain it to me. Explain where Tommy went. Explain the blood." Elliot's hand went to his pocket. I saw the gun before he pulled it out, moved on instinct, grabbed his wrist, twisted. The gun went off, bullet hitting dirt. We struggled, both of us fighting for control. He was bigger, stronger, but I was trained, experienced. I swept his leg, took him down. The gun skittered away across the gravel. Kate screamed. Big Ed appeared from the shadows, weapon drawn. "Everyone freeze!" Ed shouted. Elliot looked up at Ed's gun, then at me. "This isn't over." "Yeah, it is." I stood up, breathing hard. "Kate, call Detective Lacey. Tell him we've got a confession about Tommy Briggs." I didn't confess to anything. "You pulled a gun on me. That's assault with a deadly weapon. And once they start investigating, they'll find Tommy. They'll find evidence. You're done, Elliot." Sirens wailed in the distance. Kate had already called 911. Elliot stood slowly, hands up. "You think you've won? You've just made everything worse. For all of us." Maybe. But at least everyone knows the truth now. Detective Lacey arrived with 2 patrol cars. They took statements, collected the gun, arrested Elliot for assault. Kate sat in the back of a patrol car, crying. I gave my statement, showed them the text, explained about Tommy Briggs. Lacey looked exhausted. "This is a mess. You know that, right? A complete mess." "I know. You should have come to us from the start. Let us handle it." "Would you have?" He didn't answer. They took Elliot away in handcuffs. Kate, too, for questioning. Big Ed and I stood in the empty train yard as the sun started to rise. "Hell of a night," Ed said. "Yeah. What now?" "Now I go home. Figure out what's left of my life." "You did the right thing, Jack. Exposing her, standing up to Elliot." "Did I? Because right now, it doesn't feel right. It just feels empty." "Give it time." But I didn't want time. I wanted it to be over. I wanted to wake up and have this all be a bad dream. I wanted Kate to be who I thought she was, loving, honest, real, but she wasn't. She never had been, and I had to live with that. Monday morning, the story broke. Local newspaper ran it on the front page. Mill union boss arrested in assault case, possible connection to cold case disappearance. By noon, it was on the state news. By evening, national outlets had picked it up. Kate's double life became public knowledge. Social media exploded. Someone had leaked the photos from her box, and they spread like wildfire. Memes, jokes, think pieces about modern marriage and deception. Kate became infamous. I stayed home, ignored my phone. Reporters called constantly. So did lawyers. So did people I hadn't talked to in years, suddenly wanting to know if I was okay. I wasn't okay, but I was surviving. Wednesday, Detective Lacey called. "We found Tommy Briggs, or what's left of him, buried in the woods behind Elliot's property. You were right." "How long?" 3 years, give or take. Medical examiner says blunt force trauma to the head. Elliot's being charged with murder. And Kate? She's cooperating, testifying against him. In exchange, the DA's not charging her with anything related to Tommy, but she's still facing bigamy charges, fraud, theft. She'll probably do time. Good. You sound tired, Jack. I am tired. I'm tired of all of this. It's almost over. Few more weeks, the trials will start. You'll have to testify. I know. After he hung up, I went down to the basement, looked at my war room, all the evidence, all the planning. It had worked. I'd exposed Kate, destroyed her double life, helped catch a murderer. But standing there, I felt nothing. No victory, no satisfaction. Just emptiness. I started taking the photos down, one by one, removing the evidence of Kate's betrayal. When the board was empty, I threw everything in a box and carried it upstairs, put it in the garage next to the trash cans. My phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. The Outpost, 7 p.m. Someone wants to buy you a drink. I almost ignored it. almost stayed home. But something made me go. The bar was packed. Everyone turned to look when I walked in. Some nodded, some looked away. Everyone knew who I was now, the guy whose wife had fooled him for 4 years. Mickey waved me over. "Jack, come here." At the bar sat a woman I didn't recognize. Late 30s, dark hair, kind eyes. She smiled when she saw me. "Jack Dalton?" she asked. "That's me. I'm Sarah Briggs, Tommy's sister." I sat down slowly. "I'm sorry about your brother." "Don't be sorry. Be proud. You found him. After 3 years of not knowing, of wondering, you gave us closure. You gave us justice." "I didn't mean to. I know. You were just trying to deal with your own situation, but in doing that, you solved ours. So thank you." She bought me a drink. We talked for an hour about Tommy, about Kate, about Elliot, about how sometimes doing the right thing doesn't feel right at all. When she left, Mickey poured me another whiskey. "You're a hero in this town now. You know that?" "I'm not a hero. I'm just a guy who got played and got angry." "Maybe. But you exposed a murderer. That counts for something." Big Ed joined us. "Heard from my lawyer buddy. Kate's taken a plea deal. 5 years for fraud and bigamy. She'll be out in 3 with good behavior." "And Elliot?" "Life without parole. They've got him dead to rights on Tommy, plus the assault on you. He's done." I drank my whiskey and thought about Kate in prison, Elliot in prison, me in this bar. We'd all lost. Kate had lost her freedom, her kids, her reputation. Elliot had lost everything. And I'd lost... what? My wife? She was never really mine to begin with. "You okay?" Ed asked. "I will be." "What are you going to do now?" "I don't know. Sell the house, maybe. Start over somewhere new. Somewhere nobody knows my name." "You could stay. Build a new life here." "In the town where everyone knows I was married to a bigamist?" "No thanks." Mickey refilled my glass without asking. "For what it's worth, nobody blames you. Everyone knows Kate was the problem. You were just collateral damage." "That's exactly what I was. Collateral damage in someone else's game." The door opened. Sandy walked in, saw me, and immediately turned to leave. "Sandy?" I called out. "Wait." She stopped, turned slowly. "I'm sorry, Jack. I'm so sorry. I should have told you. I should have... Stop. It's done. It's over." "I feel terrible." "You should. You helped her lie to me. You took money to keep quiet. That's not something you can apologize away." "I know. I wanted you to know I'm sorry." She left. I finished my drink. "You're being too hard on yourself," Ed said. "You did what you had to do." Did I? Or did I just make everything worse? Elliot was a murderer. Kate was a con artist. You exposed them. That's not making things worse. That's making things right. Then why doesn't it feel right? He didn't have an answer for that. I stayed at the outpost until closing, drank too much, talked too little. When Mickey finally kicked everyone out, I walked home through the dark streets of this small town that knew all my secrets now. The house was dark and empty. I sat on the couch in the living room, where Kate used to curl up next to me on Sunday nights, where we'd watched movies and talked about the Utah where she'd lied to me 1,000 times, and I'd believed every word. My phone buzzed. Email from a real estate agent. "Saw your property listing. I have buyers interested. Call me." I'd listed the house yesterday. Couldn't stand to stay here anymore. Too many ghosts. Too many lies. Another email. From Kate's lawyer. "My client would like to speak with you before sentencing. Please contact this office to arrange a visit." I deleted it. I had nothing to say to Kate. Nothing she could say would change anything. One more email. From Carla, my ex-girlfriend from before Kate. the one I'd broken up with because I thought I'd found something better. Heard what happened. I'm sorry. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I stared at that email for a long time. Carla. Sweet, honest Carla, who I'd left because she was too simple, too straightforward, because Kate had seemed more exciting, more mysterious. Turns out, mysterious just meant liar. I typed back, "Thanks. Maybe I'll take you up on that." Then I closed my laptop and went to bed. Tomorrow, I'd start packing, start planning my exit from this town, this life, this mess. But tonight, I'd just sleep and try not to dream about vanilla perfume and lies. 3 months later, I sat in a courtroom watching Kate get sentenced. She looked different, thinner, paler, older. Prison orange didn't suit her. Nothing about this suited her. She'd always been so careful about her image, so controlled. Now she was just another criminal waiting for judgment. The judge was a woman in her 60s, stern and no-nonsense. She'd heard all the evidence, all the testimony. Now she was ready to rule. "Ms. Dalton," she said. "Or should I say Ms. Vance or Ms. Morrison? You've had so many names, I'm not sure which one is real." Kate said nothing. In my 30 years on the bench, I've seen many cases, but I've never seen such calculated, deliberate deception. You didn't just lie to one man, you lied to two. You built entire lives based on falsehoods. You stole money, manipulated people, and showed no remorse until you were caught. Your Honor, I'm not finished. You've pleaded guilty to fraud, bigamy, and theft. The prosecution has recommended 5 years. But after reviewing your case, I believe that's insufficient. I'm sentencing you to 7 years in state prison, with possibility of parole after 5. Kate's lawyer objected. The judge overruled. Kate was led away in handcuffs, crying. I felt nothing. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. I pushed through them without comment. Big Ed was waiting by my truck. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Empty." "That's normal. Give it time. Everyone keeps saying that. Give it time." But how much time? How long until I stop feeling like an idiot? "You're not an idiot, Jack. You're a victim. There's a difference." Is there? We drove back to town in silence. The house had sold 2 weeks ago. I was staying at a motel until I figured out where to go next. Maybe back west, where I'd grown up. Maybe somewhere completely new. Somewhere without memories. At the outpost, Mickey had set up a small gathering. Sarah Briggs was there, along with a few other people whose lives had been touched by Kate's exposure. It wasn't exactly a celebration, more like a wake for the lives we'd all lost. "To closure," Sarah said, raising her glass. We all drank. "To justice," someone else said. We drank again. "To moving on," I said. Everyone drank to that. Later, after most people had left, Carla showed up. We'd been talking on the phone for weeks, carefully rebuilding something that might have been lost forever. "Hey," she said. "Hey. How are you doing?" "I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. I think I'm finally starting to process everything." "Good, that's good." She sat next to me. "I heard you're leaving town." "Yeah, nothing left for me here." "Where will you go?" "I don't know yet. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere I can start over." "Sounds nice." "Come with me." She looked surprised. "What?" "Come with me. We'll both start over. Leave all this behind." "Jack, I don't know if... I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm not asking for anything serious. I'm just asking if you want to get out of this town and see what happens." She smiled. "When do we leave?" "Friday." I'll be ready." That night I went back to the motel and started packing. I didn't have much. Most of my stuff had been sold with the house. Just clothes, some books, my army gear. The essentials. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. You destroyed my life. Kate. She'd gotten someone to smuggle a phone into prison. I typed back, "You destroyed your own life. I just exposed it. I hope you're happy." I'm not happy, but I'm free. That's more than you can say. I loved you, Jack. That was real. No, it wasn't. Love doesn't lie. Love doesn't steal. Love doesn't build a life on deception. What you felt was convenience. I was useful to you. That's all. You're wrong. Goodbye, Kate. I blocked the number. Then I blocked every other number associated with her, with Elliot, with that whole mess. I was done. Finished. Moving on. Friday morning, Carla picked me up in her car. We loaded my stuff in the trunk and headed west. Didn't look back. Didn't say goodbye to anyone. Just left. As we drove out of town, past the mill and the outpost and the train yard, where everything had come to a head, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Relief. Kate was in prison. Elliot was in prison. The truth was out. Justice had been served, and I was free to start over. You okay? Carla asked. Yeah, I'm okay. No regrets? Plenty of regrets, but none about leaving. She reached over and squeezed my hand. It's going to be better. You'll see. I know. And I did know, because the worst was over. The lies were exposed. The truth was out, and I was still standing. Kate had tried to destroy me, had tried to make me into a fool, a victim, a joke, but she'd failed. Because I'd fought back, I'd exposed her, I'd won. Not the way I'd wanted to win, not with satisfaction or joy, but with survival, with endurance, with the cold, hard knowledge that I'd done what needed to be done. We drove for hours, leaving Maine behind, leaving the mill town and the gossip and the memories, leaving Kate's ghost and Elliot's threats and everything that had made the last 4 years a lie. By sunset, we were in New York. By midnight, Pennsylvania. By morning, we'd be somewhere new, somewhere without history, somewhere we could start fresh. Where do you want to go? Carla asked as we stopped for gas. Anywhere but here. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I've got. She smiled. Then anywhere it is. We got back in the car and kept driving. Into the night, into the unknown, into whatever came next. Behind us, Kate sat in a cell, paying for her lies. Elliot sat in a different cell, paying for his crimes. Sandy lived with her guilt. The whole town lived with the scandal, but I was free. And that was enough. That was everything. The road stretched out ahead, dark and endless. Carla drove, and I watched the miles pass, each one taking me further from the life I'd thought I had. I pulled out my phone one last time, looked at the photos I'd saved from Kate's box, the evidence of her double life, the proof of her betrayal. Then I deleted them, all of them. Every photo, every document, every reminder. I didn't need them anymore. Didn't need the proof or the anger or the hurt. I just needed to move forward. You good? Carla asked. Yeah, I'm good. And for the first time in months, I meant it. The revenge was complete. Kate had lost everything. Her freedom, her reputation, her families, her future. Elliot had lost even more. And I'd lost, what? A wife who was never really mine? A life that was built on lies? No, I'd lost nothing, because you can't lose something you never really had. Kate had been a ghost, a phantom, a beautiful lie that I'd believed because I'd wanted to believe it, but now I knew the truth, and the truth had set me free. We drove through the night, Carla and me, leaving the past behind and heading toward something new, something real, something honest. And as the sun rose on a new day, I realized something important. Kate hadn't destroyed me. She'd tried, she'd lied and stolen and manipulated. She'd made me into a fool, but I'd survived. I'd fought back. I'd won. Not the way heroes win in movies. Not with a happy ending and a perfect resolution. But I'd won nonetheless. Because I was still here. Still standing. Still breathing. And Kate was in prison, where she belonged. Justice wasn't always satisfying. Revenge wasn't always sweet. But sometimes, survival was enough. Sometimes, just making it through was the victory. We crossed into Ohio as the sun climbed higher. Carla was humming along to the radio. The road was empty and clean. I closed my eyes and let myself rest. Really rest, for the first time in months. The nightmare was over. The double life was exposed. The truth was out. And I was free. Finally, completely, totally free.